in Spanish. Today we are going to talk about the past tense. But there are two different types of past tense. One of them is called the preterite and the other one is called the imperfect. Let's review the preterite.
Preterite is used for specific times or events. When the event has a clear beginning and or end, an action that interrupts another, or a narration of completed actions.
Conjugations for preterite. They are yo, tú, hace, él, ella, usted, o, nosotros, hamos, vosotros, haces, ellos, ellas, ustedes, harán. Notice the accent marks over and o.
Here are some examples of preterite AR verbs.
Nikki chocó con un pared.
Eso con un libro.
Here are the ER-IR conjugations for preterite. They are yo, ella, tú, ellas, él, ella, usted, ella, nosotros, íamos, vosotros, íais, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes, ian. Notice how on all of the conjugations there is an accent over the I. And yo and el, ella, and usted have the same conjugations, ia and ia.
Here are some examples of ER and IR preterite.
San Oreo.
Bebió el agua.
Andres se vistió.
Now let's learn about imperfect. You use the imperfect tense to state time, weather, age, description, emotion, thoughts, and tenere expressions. They are also used when the activity being done is habitual, a repeated action, or it was happening, when it is interrupted.
Here are the AR imperfect endings. Yo aba, tú abas, él, ella, usted aba, nosotros abamos, vosotros abáis, and ellos, ellas, ustedes aban. Notice that yo and el, ella, and usted have the same endings, aba and aba, and nosotros has an accent over the A.
Here are some examples of AR imperfect verbs.
Trataba hacer su tarea.
Es muy difícil.
Nikki llamaba por teléfono con su madre.
Hola, mamá.
Andres jugaba con su mano.
Oh yeah.
Standard ER-IR conjugations for imperfect. They are yo, ella, tú, ellas, él, ella, usted, ella, nosotros, íamos, vosotros, íais, ellos, ellas, ustedes, ella. Notice how every single conjugation has an accent over the I, and how el, ella, and usted have the same conjugation as yo. Here are some examples of just ER and IR imperfect verbs.
Alexa tenía frío.
Nikki hacía nada.
Comía su mano.
Delicioso. Now let's combine what we just learned using preterite and imperfect verbs in the same sentence. When you were doing something in the past and you are interrupted by another event or action, the first action is imperfect, and the interrupting one is preterite.
Let's look at some examples of preterite and imperfect, first in English, then in Spanish.
Alexa was working when she fell asleep.
Nikki was walking when she fell.
Andres was tired because he was running.
Now let's look at some examples in Spanish.
Nikki ponía los lápices en su mochila cuando de repente ella gritó.
¡Ah! Alexa estaba dormido cuando hubo un terremoto.
¡Ah! ¡Un terremoto! ¡Ay, caramba! Andres se escondía de Nikki cuando se lastimó.
¿Dónde está Andres? ¿Dónde? Now let's talk about haber, an irregular verb. There are two verbs. There are two parts of this. había and hubo. Notice the accent mark on the I in había. Había is used for a description of an event in the past, or generally used for the amount of something or a description. Hubo you use it for a specific event or an incident that only happened once with a clear beginning and a clear end.
There are also two more irregular verbs that we need to go over for imperfect, and they are ir and ser. Ir is yo iba, tú ibas, él ella usted iba, nosotros íbamos, vosotros ibais, and ellos ellas ustedes iban. And then for ser, it's going to be yo era, tú eras, él ella usted era, nosotros éramos, vosotros erais, and ellos ellas ustedes eran. Notice that there's no accent marks for ir, even though it's an IR verb. And for ser, there are also no accent marks except on the E in nosotros.
Short quiz!
No, ¿qué pasó?
Hacía calor y sol cuando de repente empezó a llover. Y después en las calles hubo una inundación.
¿Llovía también en Manhattan?
Sin duda, Alexa.
Sí, también ayer yo caminaba en la calle cuando de repente unos carros chocaron.
La lluvia, la causa del accidente.
No sé, pero los paramédicos llegaron rápidamente y nadie estaba herido. Learn the difference between imperfect and preterite verbs.
See you next time on Imperfect.